Hello, welcome to today's question and response. Today's question is from a member in the WildFig community who's in level 4 membership, which means that we get to hang out together in a messages space, so often in WhatsApp, and do lots of amazing back and forth using text, using voice memos, so that I'm supporting their exploration and I'm supporting this client's exploration through that method of guidance, which I really love because it provides a great way to share something, have some space to contemplate and consider, and then come back into connection again. So it's a beautiful way of exploring. So this client had a brilliant question, which I wanted to therefore share with all of you. And actually, let me just give some context, because their questioning includes reference to whirlpools. So if you haven't seen it already, and I'll hopefully be able to put the link into this video, I have a metaphor I use with the image of a river. I have a training on it, a free training on my website. So if you don't know my metaphor and if you're not familiar with it, then go check that training out and see what you think of the river metaphor. I love it. So far, I've yet to find any human experience that doesn't fit with that description of our experience. And so if you think you've got an exception, I would love to hear from you, because I'm always open for that to be challenged and to see if there is an exception to how that metaphor shows up. But yeah, so this client in this question refers to whirlpools, because what I have is, before the river is, I'll go this way, before the river is who we really are, then the instant we come into form, the instant there's some river, we've got content. So now we're into the kind of level of innate design, the innate blueprint of who we are as a human, and the beginning of creation, of all of creation. And then partway down the river, there are whirlpools which represent the human mind, the conceptual mind, thoughts, feelings, ideas, beliefs. And so when we, as most of us are, have been taught to identify with the mind, with the character as a person, we're identified with those whirlpools. That then creates our suffering and leads to difficulties in the experience of life right downstream at the bottom of the river. And so brilliant, because that suffering of the whirlpools is our wake-up call to return back to the remembrance of ourself. That is the beginning of our exploration. And then they continue to be our wake-up call, because every time we fall into identification with a whirlpool idea, it hurts. We don't like it. It feels out of alignment. It feels difficult. It feels yucky. So brilliant, because it's there every single time for us to wake us back up to who we really are. So that's what my client here in messages has been exploring, and kind of noticing her own experience of that, how it felt, how it feels when in whirlpools, and how it feels when we're in the feeling of ourself, and how we can catch sight of that whirlpool experience. Sometimes to begin with, it's only after the event, but as with time, we start to get wise to it during, and there can be that capacity to step back out of it in that moment, to realize we're believing an idea and we're lost and we've forgotten who we are. And there can be then that dropping back into the remembrance of ourself mid-whirlpooling. And so that's what my client was experiencing when she asked this question. So she said, "What's going on when I catch sight of the fact I'm caught in whirlpools? If there's no doer, what's doing that?" So yes, there is no doer. There has never been a doer. So when we realize there's no doer, it's not as though there had been a doer and now there isn't one. The recognition of no doer is that there never was a doer. It never existed. The same as when we realize there's no Santa Claus. There was never a Santa Claus. It's not that when we come to not believe in Santa, it's because he was there and then now he doesn't exist. He was never there. He was always a construct, a concept, an idea. brought into the form of people dressed up as him. But yeah, so when we see there's no doer, it's not to say there was and now there isn't. There was never a doer. And so to come to the first part of the question, but what is going on when I catch sight of being caught in whirlpools? The only thing that's ever going on is that you, awareness, saw something. And you, awareness, instigated some kind of doing. So that is all that's ever going on with anything, in fact. You, awareness, from upstream, observing the experience that happens as you move from that source to the level of whirlpools and into the world. It's you, awareness, that observes the freedom that you feel when you don't go via identification with whirlpools. It's you, awareness, that observes the difficulty and yuckiness of identifying with those ideas and the impact and the unwanted consequences that turn up in the world at the bottom of the river. It is always you, awareness, who knows anything, who sees anything, who catches sight of anything, who does anything, or at the very least who instigates that doing within itself. And then this human form, these bodies, these characters, this is the brilliant co-creator which enables that instigation of doing, enables that to come into the world in form, enables me as human to catch sight of the fact I'm caught up in yuckiness because of how it's feeling, and to, as though, take that step back into myself and go, oh, that felt horrible. Oh, it feels much nicer here. And oh, look, now I'm flowing downstream, creating just in pure flow into the world. Oh, that feels nicer. All of it seen by, all of it instigated by you, awareness. There is truly nothing else. Let me know what this is like for you. Let me know what you hear and what this changes for you. Much love and see you soon.